Gospel for the 28th Sunday of the year, October the 10th in the year 2010, is taken from the 17th chapter of the Gospel of St. Luke. As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed. Were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." This gospel opens the door to a lot of possibilities. We certainly could talk about Thanksgiving. We certainly can talk about meeting Christ on the way. All very relevant. But one of the things that strikes me is connection. 10 approached Jesus and said, "Heal us." And on the way, they were all healed, but only one could make the connection between the request and what had happened. And I think to a great extent, that's our story too. We ask for things, they happen, and how easily we forget that we had asked for them. We had, in common parlance, put them on the plate of God, and God took care of them. That's very important for us to see this connection, and the gospel reminds us of that. But on the other hand, too, we have to remember that natural joy. We can't be too hard on the 9 that didn't come back and sort of demonize them into being unthankful people. I don't think so. I think they were just so overjoyed with being cleansed. For a period of time, I worked in India with lepers, and I saw the terror of that disease. And it would be quite, if I had leprosy and I was healed, I have to admit that I would be so happy and so overjoyed that I'd be so wrapped up in myself that I don't know, I would say thank you, but I don't know if I would really, honestly and truly, I know it would be just an overpowering experience. And I think our Lord understood that. But he's asking us, inside of that joy that we might feel, to draw the connection. In the hospital work in which I'm involved, is another example that I guess I administered the sacrament of the sick on an average of 10 times a week. And I know in the area of faith that when I administer that sacrament, Christ comes into that life in some way. And Christ heals that person in some way. And in some way is the operative phrase. They may get courage to endure their pain. They may get a little bit of hope. They may get over the discouragement that they might feel in being in the hospital. But it's there. And that God works so subtly that it's difficult for us sometimes to see that connection. And I think a very important part of prayer is to see the connection of what we ask for and what happens. And that breeds thanks and gratitude.